So there's been this trend on YouTube for a while, like 10 things I quit to simplify my life or whatever. And while I am not much of a bandwagon person, consider that a bonus quit, this one seemed kind of fun, so I'll play along. They say that with age comes wisdom. And while that's true for a lot of us, I have noticed there are plenty of people still stuck on a treadmill of competing and acquiring and worrying. So maybe wisdom doesn't automatically come with age. Lucky for me, being over 50 and having had two reality checks in the form of cancer, I have definitely woken up and smelled the BS. If that doesn't make you reevaluate what really matters, nothing's going to. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned, life is too short to live for anyone else's expectations. I've decided to unapologetically embrace who I am and what works for me without letting other people's opinions steer my ship. So, without further ado, here are the 10 things I have quit thanks to age, experience, and cancer. Now, before we jump in, I'm Rachel, and my goal here is pretty simple, helping you live your healthiest, happiest, and most content life in the easiest ways possible. If that fits with your vibe, I would love it if you'd give me a follow. Okay, I'm starting with some simple stuff and working my way to maybe more controversial ones. The last one is probably going to make some people mad, but hear me out. It's an important one for me. Okay, so the first thing that I have given up is mindlessly scrolling, especially at night. There is that black hole of mindless scrolling through everyone else's supposedly fabulous life. You know the routine. You open your phone just for a second to check one thing, and before you know it, hours are gone. Maybe you've learned some hack that solves a problem you didn't even know you had, or you've gone down a rabbit hole of dogs on Instagram, or you've argued with some random person on the internet. But what else did you get from it? Well, lost time and probably a few lost brain cells. This habit doesn't just waste time, it seeps into our mental health and our relationships. We end up next to each other, physically close, but miles apart, hypnotized by our screens. And don't get me started on the false sense of connection that comes from scrolling. It's easy to feel like we're catching up with everyone online, but do we really need to know what hundreds or thousands of our friends are doing every single day? That leads to a comparison trap, a whole new layer of fun. We scroll through everyone's reels, and it's hard not to feel like we need to do more or to look better. I finally realized that the likes that I was giving on my phone were taking away from the love that I could be giving to the people actually around me. So I made a decision to put the phone down and pick up real conversations or read a book and actually be present in my own life. Okay, the second thing I've given up is diet trends. I think I have tried just about every single one. Counting points, counting calories, no carbs, no dairy. I even tried eating like a caveman. And each time I would end up starving and irritable or just staring longingly at someone eating potatoes, fun times. Diet trends promise that this new way of eating will solve everything, and they seldom work long term. After years of playing with my food, I finally asked myself, why am I doing this? I wasn't healthier. In fact, I felt like crap. And I was tired of chasing after food fads that made me miserable. So I quit. My diet now is pretty revolutionary. I eat real food, food with nutrients, food that doesn't come with a side of guilt. And guess what? My body feels better. My energy's more stable, my mood's more predictable, I sleep better, and I am not struggling against my food choices. And since my meds already bring enough side effects, I am happy to eat foods that make me feel good, not worse. Okay, the third thing I've given up, excessive cardio. Once upon a time, I was a cardio queen. I would run and do back-to-back classes, the Stairmaster, the treadmill, you name it. Cardio felt like therapy. And then I'd squeeze in a few strength exercises here and there, but pretty half-heartedly. Strength training was the side dish to my cardio entree, but things look different now. I strength train at least 3 times a week, and I lift as heavy as I can. Strength isn't just about getting lean. It's about building a body that feels capable and resilient. Now, I still do cardio on occasion, walk my dog, and I get on my rowing machine or my Jacob's ladder at least once a week for a warm up. But it's no longer the main event because strength training builds muscle, which supports bones and joints. Exactly what I need at this stage in my life. Hell, we all need it all through life. Running miles does not support my back, my knees, my hips, my balance, but lifting weights does. It is an investment in future me. There's something really empowering about pushing heavier weights too. Running highs have nothing on seeing that bicep pop. I'm building a strong, resilient body, and that is what matters now. Okay, the fourth thing I've quit is worrying about being age appropriate with my clothes and my style. Hey, who came up with this rule about dressing your age? If I like it, I'm wearing it. I am not out here trying to impress the fashion police or random strangers. Life is too short to worry about what other people think of my style choices. Whether it's my thrift store finds, my Chuck Taylors, jeans with holes, skinny jeans, men's jeans, hoodies, grunge, bohemian, or my 25-year-old bib overalls. I am done with anyone's opinions of what's appropriate. If I like it, I'm wearing it. You don't like my Crocs? There they are. Good news, you don't have to wear them. I dress for myself to make me happy, period. The fifth thing I've given up, guilt. Guilt, that free gift that comes with every adult decision. I didn't ask for it, I didn't want it, but here it is. I mean, seriously, Catholic guilt is a very real thing. Saying no, guilt. Doing something for myself, guilt. Skipping a workout, guilt. Guilt had me running on empty, constantly trying to keep everyone happy. But it doesn't help me. It doesn't make me a better friend, partner, or family member. It is just a wasted emotion when we're already doing our very best. So now, if I want to say no, skip a workout, or take a mental health break, I do it. And if people aren't thrilled that I am prioritizing my well-being, well, that's their issue, not mine. I am done letting guilt call the shots. It does not get to control my decisions anymore. Okay, the sixth thing I am done with is documenting every moment on social media. Now, somewhere along the way, I realized that not every single moment of my life needs to be shared. Most people don't actually care. So who was I really posting for? Who was I trying to impress or keep up with? It is the modern day equivalent to going on over to someone's house and spending hours flipping through photo albums looking at their vacation photos. I used to feel pressure to show that I was living my best life through perfectly curated, envy-inducing moments. But when I took a step back, I thought, why am I making my life a highlight reel? What am I gaining from this? Life is not a competition, and I do not need to broadcast every little detail to make it valid. I mean, remember when we were kids and we thought that reading people's minds would be the coolest superpower? Well, then social media came along, and suddenly we are drowning in everyone's thoughts, opinions, and their sandwich choices. It is exhausting. So I have chosen to stop oversharing. The people who matter will hear about my life from me in person. Everyone else, they can enjoy the mystery, but honestly, they probably don't miss it. Okay, number 7 is prioritizing other people's happiness over my own. For years, I thought that putting everyone else first made me a good person. The kind of person who's always there, always willing to help out, making sure that everybody's okay. I would bend over backward to keep everyone happy, forgetting that my happiness matters too. But you cannot pour from an empty cup. If we're constantly giving everyone the best of us, we are left with scraps. There's a plane. Sorry, a little loud. There's a reason for those cliches, like happy wife, happy life, or if mom ain't happy, nobody's happy. It's a low-flying plane. When we're centered and content, we have more to give the people we care about. Now, I'm putting on my own oxygen mask first, and life feels a whole lot better with a full breath of air. If I don't take care of me, who will? Back when I was a massage therapist, I had a sign in my massage room that read, taking care of oneself is not selfish, it's practical. An empty vessel has nothing to offer. It's true, if we don't fill up ourselves first, we're just giving everyone else our energy, our joy, and our peace, and we're taking the leftovers. But when we prioritize our own health and happiness, we actually have more to give to the people we love. Okay, the 8th thing I've quit is ignoring my intuition. That gut feeling? I used to ignore it, thinking I knew better. But every time I brushed off my intuition, I ended up regretting it. I've always had a really good built-in BS detector, like give me 5 minutes and I can usually tell who's genuine and who is just full of it. My first impressions, dead on accurate 9 times out of 10. But for years, I would ignore that inner voice for reasons that I honestly don't get and don't make much sense now. Now, maybe I didn't want to offend anyone, or maybe I was just trying to fit in, keep the peace, or have friends no matter what. In a best case scenario, ignoring it comes back to bite me in the ass. Worst case scenario, it affects someone close to me. My intuition isn't some mysterious, spooky vibe. It's my own built-in radar and a top-notch BS detector designed to keep me and the people I love out of trouble. I'm done silencing it to spare feelings or to keep the peace. Listening to my intuition has become one of my top priorities because, frankly, that voice is smarter than I ever gave it credit for. If something feels off, it probably is. Okay, we're getting towards the end. The 9th thing that I have quit is tolerating judgmental people and excusing bad behavior. There was a time when I would let judgmental people stick around in my life, chalking it up to, that's just how they are. But you know what? Life's way too short to make excuses for bad behavior. No one, and I mean no one, has the right to treat people like crap just because they feel entitled to do so for whatever reason. Being an asshole isn't an inherent right. And who the hell are any of us to sit in judgment over others anyway? No one deserves to be around people who make them feel less than or drain their joy. I am done making excuses for people who thrive on tearing others down. I want to be around people who lift each other up, not bring each other down. Life is brighter without all the negativity. There is already enough of that. Why encourage more? Okay, number 10, the last one. This is the one that might ruffle some feathers. But this one has been a huge one for me. It's a very personal choice that I made to step away from organized religion. Yep, I said it. Religion is deeply personal, and it provides a lot of meaning and community for some people. But for me, things started to change the more I thought about what really mattered in terms of faith, community, and being a good human. It's not because I lost faith. I believe in a higher power. I grew up in the Catholic Church. I spent kindergarten all the way through high school in parochial schools. I learned the doctrines, the rituals, and the routines that came with it. I have read the Bible. For a long, long time, those teachings were a part of my life, shaping what I thought it meant to be a good person. But I always questioned the teaching when I was younger. And in school, that got me in a lot of trouble. And over time, I had fundamental differences with church doctrines. Nowhere in the Bible does it tell us that we have to go to church. It does, however, emphasize being part of a community, caring for others, and living a life of kindness and compassion. But somewhere along the way, that message seemed to get tangled up in rules, judgments, guilt, and a one-size-fits-all approach to spirituality that just doesn't sit right with me. All religions, no matter how ancient or different, are shaped by people, each one splintering off due to some form of disagreement or dissatisfaction with the last. Religion seems to have evolved based on human preferences rather than some unchanging truth. The values in many religions are great, but their interpretations vary so widely that sometimes the core message gets lost. And in my opinion, can sometimes get quite judgy. At the end of the day, I found that faith, My own personal connection to something greater is more meaningful to me than trying to fit into a religious mold. For me, it's more important to be a good, caring human than checking boxes to fit the label of good Catholic or good Christian. I think faith in its purest form comes down to living with integrity, how we treat one another, and how we show compassion, kindness, and understanding to everyone, in or out of a formal setting. So, there you go. Those are just 10 of the things that I have quit to simplify my life, bring me peace, and keep me content. Thoughts? Opinions? I definitely know some of you have them, especially on that last one, so drop them in the comments. And if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. As always, take care of you, and I will see you the next time. Bye-bye.